crunch time for Manchester United in the Europa League. With Onana's recent mistakes and the looming question of a £40 million star's future, can they pull off a win against Lyon? Let's break down the key moments. Don't forget to subscribe the channel. Andre Onana mistakes proved Manchester United arrogance ahead of make-or-break Lyon clash. The editor-in-chief of Get French Football News spoke to the men ahead of Man Utd's huge clash against Lyon. Manchester United are ready to play their most important game of the entire season. The Premier League campaign has essentially been written off, and Ruben Amorim understands that winning the Europa League is the only way to salvage something from 2024/2025. Lifting the Europa League in Bilbao would ensure a trophy from a disastrous campaign and grant entry into the Champions League for next season. United need as much broadcast revenue as they can gather, and playing in the Champions League would also help attract players this summer. Lyon stand in United's way of reaching the competition's semi-final. The French club snatched a late 2-2 draw in the first leg last week, and Andre Onana was at fault for both of their goals. Amorim has confirmed Onana will start against Lyon, meaning all eyes will be on him again. The Manchester Evening News contacted Luc Entwistle, the editor-in-chief of Get French Football News, to get his thoughts ahead of Thursday night's game. Entwistle has traveled from France to report on the match and was asked to explain the reaction to last week's draw at the Groupama Stadium. There was certainly a sense of justice in Ryan Cherki's late equalizer, even if both of Lyon's goals came from Andre Onana errors, to varying degrees, said Entwistle. There were certainly the chances to win it for OL with Alexander Lacazette and Corentin Tolisso wasteful most notably. The performance perhaps exceeded expectations. Despite Manchester United's plight, it is still a club that has a lot of clout and surfs off its historic reputation, and so I think that despite Lyon going well in League One and Manchester United struggling in the Premier League, there was still a perception that OL were the underdog, and so to be able to go toe-to-toe with them drew quite a lot of optimism. The pre-match exchange between Onana and Nemanja Matic made headlines, and there was a sense of poetic justice when the goalkeeper made mistakes, according to Entwistle. Onana's initial comments about Manchester United being way better didn't cause waves in France, he explained. As I said, Manchester United's continued reputation on the continent meant that those comments were not contested as much as they perhaps should have been. Matic seemingly hadn't heard the comments, and his explosive comments then did capture the attention of the French and really focused eyes on Onana's initial comments. Of course, the Cameroonian was heavily booed by Lions fans during the warm-up, despite a slight rowback on. Man United boss Ruben Amorim delivers rousing message ahead of crunch Europa League tie. Manchester United host Lyon tonight in the second leg of their Europa League quarter-final, with boss Ruben Amorim delivering an ultimatum to both his players and United fans. Ruben Amorim has told Manchester United's players and fans to give everything in tonight's crunch Europa League tie against Lyon. The quarter-final tie is evenly poised at 2-2 ahead of tonight's decisive return leg at Old Trafford, with Amorim's pre-match message clear and simple. Get ready to give everything, said the United boss, writing in United Review, the club's official match program. That is my only message to everybody involved with Manchester United ahead of tonight's UEFA Europa League quarter-final decider. Last Sunday we were naturally disappointed by the nature of our Premier League defeat at Newcastle. But that is the past, and since Monday we have focused entirely on what we need to do tonight. As we welcome Paulo Fonseca and Lyon to Old Trafford, we all know what is at stake. The tie is currently level, so we have to win to progress, and to do that we will have to play well against a strong opponent. We must play with our hearts and our heads, and that applies to the players, staff, and supporters. The advantage of being at home tonight is that we have the incredible weapon of a packed Old Trafford on our side, and that can make a huge difference for us. Winning the Europa League would see United qualify for next season's Champions League, which is worth around £100 million to the club in revenue. Amorim said, "This competition represents an opportunity for us to take something positive from a difficult season. There are two huge rewards on offer, the UEFA Europa League trophy and the chance to qualify for next season's UEFA Champions League. Those are prizes worth fighting for. But tonight, we cannot look beyond the immediate challenge of beating Lyon, so we must all give everything we've got to reach the semi-finals." The huge talking point going into the Old Trafford decider was who would start in between the stick for United after a tumultuous pair of games for the club's goalkeepers. Andre Onana was at fault for both goals against Lyon last week, with Amorim opting to drop him from the travelling squad to Newcastle, citing a need to disconnect. That afforded Altay Baynder the chance to impress, a chance he emphatically passed up. And after the defeat on Tyneside, Amorim has turned back to Onana with the backing of the United dressing room. Harry Maguire said, "I think first and foremost Andre has proven in his past that he is an excellent goalkeeper. He has proven that at Inter he has won numerous trophies and played in a Champions League final. He will want to show everyone what he is about. Playing in front of Andre is great. I have confidence in front of Andre. He has had a fantastic career, he has got great experience, and we all know he isn't." Man United already considering moves to replace £40 million star. Man United prepare for Rashford exit as Villa delayed decision on £40 million option. Rashford's situation remains unresolved. Aston Villa have yet to confirm whether they will trigger the £40 million buy option for Marcus Rashford, according to Sky Sports. The forward has contributed 3 goals and 5 assists in 15 appearances since joining Villa on loan in January, with Unai Emery stating, "It depends on the circumstances for now and the next weeks." They were poorly timed clangers after Nemanja Matic claimed Onana was the worst goalkeeper in Manchester United history in response to the Red Devils stoppers' claim that his side are way better than their League One opponents. Ruben Amorim, who was appointed United manager in November, insisted after the game that he retains confidence in his number one. He said, "If you look at the season, I've made more mistakes than them during these last games and during these last months. There's nothing I can say to Andre in this moment that will help him, so the most important thing is to be natural, and then when the time comes I will choose the best 11 to play. But I'm really confident in Andre." Despite that vote of confidence, the Daily Mail reported that the Portuguese boss is considering taking Onana out of the firing line for Manchester United's trip to Newcastle on Sunday, with Altay Baynder on standby to play at St James Park. The report adds that Amorim is set to make a number of changes for the visit to Tyneside and could play his number 2 keeper Baynder in goal. It's claimed the United bosses are now scouring the market for a new number 1 goalkeeper, and while reports suggesting they could make a shock bid to re-sign David De Gea have since been dismissed, it's been claimed a 5-man shortlist including Burnley's James Trafford and Leicester's Mads Hermansen has been drawn up by the club. And now TalkSport claims Suzuki is also being looked at as a possible future number 1 at Old Trafford, with the report claiming United have stepped up their scouting of the Parma goalkeeper, who's valued by the Serie A club at £40 million. United were strongly linked with the Japanese stopper in 2023 when he moved on loan to Belgian side Sint-Truiden from Urawa Red Diamonds, and have reigned that interest following his £6.5 million move to Parma in the summer. The 22-year-old has kept 5 clean sheets in 30 Serie A appearances this term and is yet to make a single error leading to a goal in the league. While Onana has made 3 in the Premier League this term and 8 in all competitions since the start of last season, the most of any keeper playing for a Premier League club. Man United vs Lyon prediction, Europa League betting preview, odds and tips. United's season has been woeful and the only saving grace is the Europa League, but they are still on equal terms with Lyon with little to no sign of getting a result, a tough task for Ruben Amorim even with home advantage. Manchester United are set to host Lyon at Old Trafford for the decisive second leg of their Europa League tie, with the aggregate score finally balanced at 2-2. This marks the third encounter between the two clubs at this iconic venue, with United having emerged victorious in both previous meetings back in November 2004 and March 2008. However, the current landscape presents a different challenge as United navigate a season marked by disappointing league performances. Lyon, on the other hand, boast an impressive record against English teams in European competitions, having suffered just 1 defeat in their last 9 encounters. Their most recent loss was a 3-0 setback against West Ham during the 2021-22 UEFA Europa League campaign. As both teams prepare for Thursday night's clash, they do so with the understanding that this match is pivotal. Neither side has other opportunities for silverware this season. With everything to play for, it promises to be a high-stakes encounter at Old Trafford. Man United vs Lyon odds. Man United vs Lyon betting offer. Bookies Copybet are offering new customers £60 free bets when they place a £20 qualifying bet. Simply register and bet £20 on a single bet on the match on minimum 1.9 odds, and Copybet will give you 3 free bets worth £20 each to place on football, horse racing, and other popular sports too.